noted while I was doing the research for the book was that Pimp was, there were other issues as well, but Pimp was kind of upset because No Limit had this incredible deal where they're getting, 80% of everything off the top, no expenses. They're making millions and millions of dollars. Pimp C, who's, arguably a much better artist, he's stuck in a deal where he's getting 7% after all the expenses are recouped. So I know, Wendy, you were involved in negotiating or, contractually in both of those threadable deal where UGK was kind of stuck in this situation.
I wasn't involved in the UGK original deal, but I was involved in the original Master P deal. It was just a different, P came with a different leverage than Chad. He was cranking out albums every 15 minutes, and I'm exaggerating, but not really, exactly. And P was inferior as an artist, but P also knew that. When the first and only phone call I've ever had with Master P, he called me and he said, I'm whack, my crew is whack, I'm the wackest in my crew, but I'm the first one to come out. But I'm a marketing genius. And I love that honesty. That's what made me want to fuck with him.
He actually said that?
Yeah. As a New Yorker, like, my background is lyrics. Like, my favorite rapper is Razzcats. You know what I mean? So to go from a background of lyrics to a guy who's really not lyrical at all, but he had sold 300,000 CDs at that point. So it was kind of a no-brainer on the financial side. On the purist side, it wasn't, it wasn't the best deal ever, but control and ownership over an empire. Could Chad have handled that type of deal? No. In fact, my fear would be if he had that type of deal, that it would have shut the door for everybody else, kind of the way the Cash Money deal has shut the door for everybody else, trying to come behind that. Plus it's a different era now. The money isn't like it was back then. But P had put out, I think, 3 albums by that point, and he had a buzz that was all through the Bay Area, all the way down to LA, and down through the South, like through Houston and Louisiana. He was just starting to bubble a little bit in Chicago at the time. So his reach was a lot stronger than UGK's when they did their deal.
Yeah, that's right, Wayne. But what Chad was mad about at the time was that he felt like him and Bond had went over there and they had did a lot of records on Cash Money with a lot of their artists. No Limit.
Yeah.
And he did a lot for Cash Money also.
Yeah.
But at the time, the record that pissed Pimp off was the Break You Off record. That was the record that broke him in Atlanta, that broke Master P in Atlanta. And Pimp felt like this was his territory. So what happened was he started asking P, because I remember he called me, he said, man, we recorded this song in the house in the bathroom. And he said, yo, after the record broke, he wanted the master back. And P was like, nah, I ain't giving you the master back. So that's when the war started. The war started, and I remember Pimp called me, and he said, Gipp, P just came in my room, pulled a gun on me. And I said, what you mean? He said, man, somebody from downstairs let this man in my room. I woke up and P was standing over me. And what had happened was, and I'm gonna be real with you, it was a hit put out on his life. You know what I mean? It was a hit put out on his life. And the people who was gonna do the hit went to Jay Prince and told him that it was actual hit on Pimp's life. That's when P, if y'all see, P had to leave. P had to leave the South. You know, he had to leave. That's when he left, sold everything. He moved out of Houston and went to LA. And this is when the whole war started. And I was with him during that time. And I think that he really, this is the whole thing. Bun was in the middle of it too. And Bun didn't want that kind of war, but Pimp felt like, man, like I really gave Master P the record that really blew him. And I feel like, P, if I helped you give me my record back. At least give me my master back because I did so many other records for you guys. At least let me have that master. And he refused. And I think that relationship never really got, you know, cleaned up. And never really, I think Pimp went to his grave being an enemy of Master P. You know what I mean? Because he felt like, man, like, come on, man, like, you was already robbing so many of them cats down there. You gotta know, man, people was doing publishing deals and all that kind of stuff. So Pimp at least felt like you got enough money, you got enough stuff going on. At least give me that master back, and we can be friends. You know what I mean? So that it was a real dark time, man. It was a real dark time. But I was there with him. Bro was there with him, and I feel like this, man, like. You could be in the music industry and y'all could be friends today. And tomorrow something blow up and that same friend ain't your friend. You know what I mean? And I think that was the first time that Pimp ever felt like his hand had been slapped by a friend. You know?
Not only not be your friend, but they will shoot at you. Like it can escalate in this industry very quickly.
Well, they actually did squash things after he came home. So.
But and you know, Julia, it's another part of that because, and this is for the artists who have your crews. I remember we was in a hotel one night. Jay Prince was on one phone, Pete was on one phone, and on the other line was C, and everything was being talked through. And I think his name was Tavesta.
That's just Scott.
Yeah, he jumped down and said something crazy about "we're glad this over with, kid, y'all," and that's what just hyped everything up. So you see it over and over again. Your artists are cool, but the crews you hang with will get you in trouble. It'll start more shit than you can handle. And just from my side, like doing security, just what really escalated the violent side to where someone who has no voice in the conversation jumps in the middle and just starts a whole bunch of stuff. I remember, I think it was in Shreveport when C was on stage, packed house, packed Coliseum, and he went in on Master P. That's my record. I gave you that record. You ain't no good in the South. And I'm like, we in Shreveport, for real? My job getting hard. So, yeah.
You in that book.
You said you pistol whip Pimp C.
We have a
God
clip.
bless the day.
I think we have a clip.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Master P ran up in his hotel room with 4 people, held him down, pistol whipped him.
Pimp C?
And, yeah.
Master P pistol whip Pimp C?
Pimp kind of fell back because he said, well, I kind of started it because I was talking crazy. What sparked that was there was a dispute over like some money or some equipment that was supposed to take place. And Master P had cussed out C's mom on the phone. So Pimp got on stage that night and he said, limit, and went off. Master P eventually found him and I guess somebody said it was a love whooping. Like he let him know he could be touched.
That's damn near incriminating.
It's in the past, but she also did go on to say that you guys made up after that. It was fine, and he felt like he deserved it because he was going on stage saying "F no limit."
Yeah, the thing about us, like we don't normally fight nobody or beat nobody, none of that type of stuff. That ain't us. That ain't our character. It's like with Pimp C, he had a lot of talent. I really liked him as a person, but you know, I found out that he called me. He said, "Man, I'm sorry. I was on drugs," and you know, like you just wouldn't. It's just easy. Like to me and Lil J like this. We jam. Like that's my OG. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I learned a lot. You'll see in the movie. I got my hustle game from Jay because when I was at the University of Houston trying to play basketball, before I got hurt, I'm in the club and I seen Lil J come in, and he had Scarface and the Ghetto Boys. And so I seen him, he come in the club in a Mercedes with a big main
Jay Prince you talking about?
Jay Prince. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, he come up there with a main coat on, Mercedes, and I said, man, who's that? So I went up straight up and talked to him. I said, look here, homie, what you do? He said, man, I got a record company. I said, a record company? What you mean a record company? You rap? What you do? He said, nah, I own the company. And that's why I was motivated to, you know, there's a black man with this type of money,
right.
And he got his own company. I respect that. So at the same time, with us, where we come from, it ain't about once you run your mouth and you do all the stuff, you got to be able to pay for whatever you say. And I, you know, like with me and Pimp, I never talk about none of that stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, he's dead, his mom dead, so it's like I'm really not. You ain't never heard me sit around and talk about that. I just don't do that.
But I guess he told the story.
Yeah, he told the story to him, but you know that's. Mm-hmm. maybe she knows some of the story, she don't know none of the story. But
Right.
that ain't my business. I'm about, I'm not gonna just talk about somebody that can't defend they. I'd rather talk about somebody that can defend themselves.
Right.
So, that ain't me. And I mean, he know whatever he did was wrong. He apologized for it. And there's a lot of people. To me, I always say 2 mountains may not never meet, but 2 men will. So I don't go looking for people. If I see you, like I tell anybody, man, you do me something. I don't care if I see you in church or whatever. You gonna have to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to talk to me. That's just me. I don't. Man, I'm a pretty nice guy. I try to do the right thing. I don't mess with nobody. And I just hope that's just how I live. I say, like, you hear all these beef on wax, go look and check my resume. We never did that.
Right.
We're not going, if you're a real street dude, what you going to talk about beefing with somebody on the record? We just don't do it. When you see them, you address it like men. And say, you got a problem with me? That's it. Now you're going to have to show it. You're going to have to prove it that you mean what you say.
Well, with all these stories floating around like this, how important is it for you to tell your story and not have people tell it for you?
Yeah, well, you know what? The good thing about it, I feel my life, I want to tell the struggle side, where we come from and where we going at and where we grew up, how we changed our lives. Because everybody come from the struggle and come from the stress, come from trying to make it. And to be able to educate yourself, that's what I want people to show, that we come from the streets, but the education took us to a whole nother level to make some serious money, from the project to Forbes. That's what this whole King of the South, Ice Cream Man, bio story is about. And we're not going to hold back. We're going to tell the truth because it's a movie. And we able to tell this the right way. Like, it's not like Biggie or Pop, they not here, so somebody might tell their story any kind of way. Me and C, I was on that bus with Pop, knowing that I'm the opening up act. And now one day I'm gonna turn around and gonna be the biggest act in the world, to where these guys gonna probably need me. And that was in my mind. That was embedded. Like, I'm from the South, but I'm gonna represent the South everywhere I go. And that's what I did. I mean, the East Coast took to our Body and the Ice Cream Man, and make them say, which a lot of people say, oh, you're not the best rapper in the world. I never was trying to be the best rapper in the world. Lil Wayne the best rapper in the world. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make the most money off of what I do. That's what I'm trying to do, and I did this on my own,
Gotcha.
with a great team of people with me. But everybody got to have a vision, and my whole thing was no limit to my success, and I named myself Master P because I'm a master of whatever I do. And anybody that don't understand, they know that we broke the wave to where we could make money in the business. A lot of people you look at from the East Coast, a lot of my friends from the East Coast that did music, they looked at it as just an art. And I'm like, this ain't no art. We got to eat off of this. I got so many poor people in my family. Nobody ever had money in my family. So I broke that curse, that generation curse that we had, that everybody was poor.
And when y'all start taping? Have y'all started filming? Y'all haven't started filming?
No, we haven't started filming yet. We doing the
Still
casting,
casting.
right? We still casting
When y'all
right
start
now.
filming? Do y'all know yet or not yet?
Once the casting is done, and we're in the works of some other things. So once we get done with that, I mean, we ready to go.
Why do you think that down south trap story hasn't been told on the big screen yet? Like, you ain't seen a BMF movie or even your film, like how they had, they showed the gang lifestyle in on the West. Why they haven't shown that?
Well, I think it's time now. To be honest with you, like a lot of people don't own their stories. A lot of people don't own things that they need that could make this happen. A lot of these guys got so many people in the pot to with me. It's just me. I could make it move. And I think that's the great thing about this, that we're gonna be able to do something that tell our side of the story from the South, because we had to hustle. We had to break through those chains, because the East Coast had the best rappers, West Coast had the best rappers, and then for us, people looked at us like, man, y'all just here. Because at first it was like gold teeth. Nobody really tripped on gold teeth. I'm coming with a mouthful of gold teeth. They're like, oh, you country. Now everybody got gold teeth and dreads now. Everywhere you go. And I mean, those are some of the barriers that we broke as people.
How was it for you performing on the East Coast at first? Because I know in Luke, in his book, he talks about how they just did not respect down south artists. When they would come to New York, it was
I ain't
difficult.
gonna even lie, New York really just embraced me. They was body. They was like going crazy. I'm like, man, this is this is what it's about.
Yeah, they
like,
showed P a lot of love.
Yeah,
when
they
that-
showed a
when
lot
that
of
came out.
love in the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, Cincinnati. I started. This is how I really broke. In the Cincinnati, so I'm on tour with Tupac, Spice One. They got into it with some guys in the club. Tupac was on this dude or later, but he was drunk. So he on this girl, and I'm like, man, it's about to go down. I'm a dude from the South. You can't mess with nobody, woman. You tripping. So I'm telling Pot and them like, man, look, man, leave that alone. Nah, man, I'm cool. So I'm like, okay, I'm going over here. Y'all tripping.
Do you?
I mean, he just was on this girl. And the dude walked up and said, look, man, I know you too, Pot. I'm a big fan of yours, but that's my bro. He said, nah, she won't be with me. So the dude was like, man, I'm telling you, this is my bro, man. I'm going to shoot this place up, man. You know how they is out there. I'm going to shoot this place up. I guess they didn't get it. I told him, man, y'all need to get up on out of here.
Right.
Before you know it. Da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? Now they run into the bus. The dude, this how I made my big break. The dude said, Pete, they gone. They had left and went out of town. Man, said, would you perform tomorrow? Boy, ain't nobody shooting at me. I be there 2 days. Y'all even do 3 shows, whatever. You know,
So
and
thanks to that girl, you.
man, thanks to her, whatever show, I don't even know her name or whatever. You know, that was my big breakthrough. I did like 3 shows down there. You know what I'm saying? And it opened it up for me.
That's great.
You know?
Now, Uncle Luke, how much of an influence did he have on you?
Man, to be honest, Uncle Luke had a lot of influence on me, but it wasn't like Lil J because Lil J was in Houston. I was close to be able to see him. One time, I'll tell you my story about Luke. Like, I didn't know my first time going to Miami. So they had all these big conventions, rap conventions. So I got all these big buses with the ice cream man rap. So I get out, and I guess they ain't never seen nothing like that in Miami before. So I got all my big buses. I think we made the world's greatest brawls after this show. So I parked my buses up there, and a guy come up and say, you with Luke? I just lost it. Man, I don't know no Luke. I got a bulletproof vest on. Look, we out there scrapping, so I'm like, but I ain't think that was Uncle Luke.
Yeah,
the rap, I'm just thinking like, boy, you with Luke? Boy, I don't know, look out my face.
Yeah.
Then he swung at me.
Damn, right there, night on the spot?
On the spot, man, that was the wrong thing to do. You know what I'm saying? We ate him up out there, right there. and I went to jail, me and C went to jail, so they got the police saying, why you got this bulletproof vest on and all this stuff? So I'm like, man, they just killed Tupac or whatever. You know me. So I'm like, but that was my uncle. I never really hung out with him, but I always had respect for him because of what he done. You know, he opened the doors. I think, you know, I look at everybody as they got their piece. You know, I feel like I'm the king of the South. You know, I feel like Luke started the whole movement on the end, and I feel like Lil J, the Godfather. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I'm still like that Tony Montana. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think we all got little pieces to what we we could bring to this, and I think a lot of their music is influential to me in making those. What I did was even with what Rap-A-Lot did, I feel like Rap-A-Lot music was slow. I respected them at the time, but I feel like with Lil J, you know, Scarface, the mind playing tricks, and the music was a little slow. By me being from New Orleans, we had that bounce music. So that's what I brought to the table. I tell people in business, you always got to find.
You have to take the leap of faith to step out there and trust the fact that these people, us brothers, myself, Oh God, Darren, Kansu, have lived this journey, have been through these experiences, have been through these trials, have learned and have gained success through the formula that we want and wish to provide for you.